Hey guys, it's Charlotte and welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited because we're back with another knitting podcast. Once again, it's been a while since my last one. The last couple of months have been really hectic. I've been really busy with work, and so yeah, filming a podcast just didn't really happen. I also would argue that in the past couple of months I haven't actually done a lot of knitting. I feel like there was kind of a period where I was spending a lot of my free time sleeping and a lot of my free time doing other things, because I was working a lot and I was making really long hours and I was just exhausted when I got home, and so knitting wasn't really happening, and there wasn't a lot of stuff that I was crazy excited about, and so yeah, that resulted in just a little bit less of knitting, but I still have some stuff to share with you guys. Again, I have my laptop here, a little bit of a cheat sheet for all the information because it's been a while. I have quite a lot of yarn acquisition to show you guys as well, but we'll get into that later. Let's just start with finished objects. I'm not wearing a hand knit today because this is just what I happen to be wearing today and I didn't feel like getting changed, so let's just jump into the finished objects. One trend that you will see is that I don't like weaving in ends, and I will wear these tops and just tuck away the ends, but I really need to have like a weave-in session at some point. But anyways, the first top that I finished, I actually finished this a while ago, like a long while ago, and I don't know that this was actually even a whip in the last podcast video. With this top, I remember after last podcast, I'm pretty sure that was the timing of it all, maybe it was just before the last podcast and you've already heard all of this, but I really wanted to focus on finishing my whips and, you know, casting off UFOs that I had and things like that, because, and I still do have a lot of whips that have been whips for a very long time, and I really want to prioritize them and get through them because there are things that I want to wear and there are things that I still want. The things that I don't want, I'm going to be frogging, but in general there are things that I still want, and so I want to put my priority on those. And so I told myself I wasn't allowed to cast on any new items, and then I casted this guy on. But this was kind of, I think, in like my biggest knitting slump. If you watched my last podcast, you'll know that I knit a lot of socks because I was also felt like I was in a bit of a knitting slump, and socks were just like this satisfying thing to knit and I was really enjoying it. But I also really wanted to get back into garment knitting, but none of my whips or UFOs were really exciting me, and I had this yarn already, and this was a pattern that I wanted to knit for a really long time, like over a year. This was in my favorites, and the yarn as well, this is knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. I hadn't worked with it yet, and I purchased it for the Ukraine support sale thing that they did, and so I really wanted to cast something on that I was excited about, and this was like, you know, kind of early summer, and so I was like, this is something I want to wear during the summer. It's a yarn that I want to use in a shade that I'm obsessed with and a pattern that I really want to knit, and so it was just like this really exciting knit, and I was religiously knitting on this, and it was really nice to get that excited feeling for garment knitting back because a lot of my whips don't excite me. So that's what this kind of ended up being. But yeah, if you've not seen this pattern before, this is the twist loop top or tank. I don't actually know what she words it. Twist loop top from Other Loop, and I have so many of their patterns that I want to make, and this, after knitting this, I want to knit all those patterns even more because the pattern, like the detail of it and the you know, the pattern itself, it's super clear, it's super easy to follow. This knit was just amazing and it flew off my needles. I can't actually recall what size I knit, but next time it'll be somewhere in my like Ravelry page, but next time I definitely want to knit a size or two down. I feel like whenever I'm not too sure about what size to knit in garments, I will sooner knit a size larger, or if I feel like I'm in between two and I'm not really sure, I will opt for the larger one because then at least that way it fits. So this, especially because it's in the cotton merino, cotton grows a little bit and stretches a little bit. It is a little bit more oversized and like just a loose slouchy top as opposed to a more tight cinched in tank top. So next summer I definitely want to knit this again. in a smaller size, but I am obsessed with this top. It's in the shade Purple Elephant by Knitting for Olive. I used exactly 3 skeins, like exactly 3 skeins. I did the whole thing of where, you know, I knit the front, the back, whatever, and then I, you know, joined in the round and essentially kept going until I ran out of my as soon as I ran out of my second skein of yarn, I stopped. Whenever I was in the round, I then picked up the 3rd skein to do all of the edging. So you have just some nice I-cord going on and this ribbed neckband. And then once I completed those, I just knit the body until I ran out of yarn, and it actually worked out pretty perfectly. I think it stops in a really nice spot with the cables. So yeah, if you've been looking for a tank, I know that we're going into fall season and sweater knitting and stuff like that, but if you have been looking for a tank, definitely add this to your Ravelry page because it's just beautiful. I love the way that everything looks, all these details, even just little things like how, like this. I think this looks beautiful here with this, these increases and things like that. But yeah, pretty simple pattern, very easy to knit up. You know, once you get to the cable, you think a little bit and you work a little bit, and then you just get to knit ribbed for a while and then go back to it. So it's really, really nice. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. Gonna get a lot of wear out of it, and I definitely want more of these in the future. So 10 out of 10 would recommend this one. After this guy, I was very excited about camis and I wanted to cast on another one, and so that's what I did. Again, ends aren't weaved in, but this is the Sailor Swift top by Veronica Lindbergh. This is just a pretty standard cami in stripes, and my god, this flew off the needles. I enjoyed knitting this so much. I feel like anything striped is just enjoyable because you're going to just another stripe, and it just is a little bit more engaging, I feel like. But yeah, it's a pretty standard tank top, a little bit more of a not really square neckline, but it just, the stripes, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I-cord edging, my I-cord edging along the neck is definitely tighter than what it should be, but I'm thinking it'll just loosen up over time, and it just sits really nice and high, which I do really like. But yeah, I loved this guy. I really, really did. I don't really have an awful lot to say about this. This is knit up in sock yarn. I will show you this skein later because I used this main color also for a pair of socks, but this bright pink color is an Olivia Oliver fiber yarn. It is her classic sock base, which is 75% superwash and 25% nylon, pretty standard. And I purchased 2 skeins of this at some point on her site, and it's in the shade My Girl. I'm pretty sure she still has some in stock, so I will link it down below. I used just over 1 skein, and this is like, I usually knit up a size large or extra large, so if you're a smaller size, you'll have enough with 1 100-gram skein. I don't actually know where exactly. I feel like what ended up happening is the last few rounds of the body, as well as the I-cord, was skein number 2, but I barely dipped into it. So I definitely want to knit up this pattern again, and then I just used, by the way, an undyed sock base for myself because I dye my own yarn, so I have undyed yarn, and so I just used an undyed base for the stripes. But I think if I knit this up again, I don't think I would necessarily go down a size. I'm really happy with the fit, but instead of doing 2 rounds for the stripe, I think I would make it 3 rounds and then make this 5 rounds instead with the pink. And so then you should be able to get away with 1 whole skein of sock yarn. So that's really exciting. I haven't blocked it yet. I need to like properly block it so that this got a little bit of a rib detailing here at the bottom. But yeah, love this pattern, love this yarn. Obviously a sock yarn is not the most weather appropriate thing in the world. You're not going to wear this out in 30-degree weather, but honestly when it's 30-degree weather outside, I'm not wearing knits for the most part anyways. So yeah, I did wear this a couple of times, and I think I will get a lot of wear out of this. Even in this kind of transition period now, just wearing it like over top of a top or wearing like a little jacket over top, you can still get away with wearing tops like this. So very, very happy with that. And my last finished object is a pair of socks, and these were, I think, like 99% done in the last podcast from what I remember. I'm just gonna quickly pull up the pattern, but these are summerly socks. Should not surprise anyone, and these are the folk flower socks, and they're the shorties. They're a longer version as well available. There's a couple of different variations in the pattern. These are just the little shorties, and yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into this. I actually don't know the yarn shade. It's definitely Olivia Oliver fiber. I think it might be Apple Blossom, this pink. Again, an undyed yarn, and then the matching sock set color for the little flowers. In the original pattern, the colors and the yarns that you use for this little panel here, she uses more colors. So she has, like, where I have just a white background, I'm pretty sure she used like a black, and then all the little dots were different colors and things like that, but I just decided to make it one, and I'm very, very happy with these. I definitely want to knit up more shorty socks because I feel like that's what I'm gonna wear around the house the most. But yeah, if you're wanting a nice sock pattern, go check out Summerly Designs because she has so many and I'm obsessed with every single one of them. I have knit multiple pairs of her socks before, and I have multiple planned to knit of her socks as well. So yeah, this is my last little FO. There is a second sock, but I didn't feel like grabbing it, so it is a pair. It is a full pair. Once again, have not weaved in the ends, so we really need to get on that. But yeah, those are my finished objects for the past couple of months. Let's move on to the whips. Okay, first things first, this is one of those UFOs that I've had all year. I casted this on in January. You have seen it multiple times, I feel like. I'm still entirely obsessed with it, but it does need to be completed. This is the Eun, or Un sweater, E-U-N, by November Knits. I am knitting it up in drops kid silk as well as drops sky or air. I will link my Ravelry page down below. You can get all the information there. This is just a very simple top-down raglan sweater, but it's got a little bit of a rib going on in the raglan 2x2 knit collar, and nice long ribbings, and a very dramatic split hem body ribbing. So this is a split hem. As you can see, I hope that when I block this will kind of, you know, fan out a little bit more. Right now it looks kind of funny because it scrunches in. I'm working on the second sleeve. I picked this up a while ago, and look at my little cow stitch marker. I picked this up a while ago and I was very happily knitting on the sleeve, and I was like 3/4 of the way through the sleeve. I decided to check the pattern and I realized that I was supposed to be doing decreases, and so I had to frog sleeve and restart. So one sleeve left. I do want to pick this up. I'm forcing myself to finish this in October, so next month, in 4 weeks time, when you see my new knitting podcast, this will be a finished object. Maybe I will even be wearing this in the beginning of November, because I want to wear this so freaking badly. I also have another UFO from November Knits, the Iris sweater, that I also want to get on. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this sweater pattern. I feel like it's just it gives me a little bit of Scandi vibes. Very chic, very nice. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about too much because I feel like I've talked about this 101 times, but that is a whip that I have. Another whip is one that I will just really quickly talk about. Another Summerly sock pattern. It looks very, very funny because this is her wide rib sock. Again, it's a sock set, so there's a couple of different variations. This is the widest rib variation, which is an 8x8 rib. And once again, I am using Olivia Oliver fiber sock set in Pixie Dust. I'm not 100% sure on the shade of the contrast color, but it's the Pixie Dust main color. And I did a little contrast ribbing and a contrast toe, which is what I do for most of my socks. I still have to knit up the second sock, which is why it's a whip. I'm kind of currently struggling with this whole sock island thing. But this is like a dream yarn. I want to get a sweater quantity of this for the springtime. And I wanted to knit a sock I talked about it in my last podcast that I didn't love knitting vanilla socks. Turns out I actually do kind of like it. I have a vanilla sock to show you guys in a second, but with this one I wanted something that was a little bit more exciting than just a vanilla sock, but I still wanted something that would show off this yarn. I didn't want to use something too complicated because I don't think it would look nice. So this like wide rib, I feel like just allows you to see the yarn in all its glory. So yeah, very, very excited about that. I will get onto that second sock at some point, but I'm not going to guarantee when that'll be. Then we have another Summerly. This is technically a Summerly design or pattern, but it is a vanilla sock, so it's not necessarily anything unique or special. Once again, we're using Olivia Oliver fiber sock sets. I'm not sure of this name. It's a Christmas shade, Holly Jolly or something like that. I'm obsessed with this yarn. This is the sock set. Here, I've obviously wound it up already. Most beautiful yarn. I love speckled yarn like this, and this gorgeous, it's a little bit brighter and more vibrant in person. It comes across a little bit deeper of a green on camera, but this is the sock set. If I can find the name, I will put it on the screen for you guys. And yeah, I was watching someone's podcast, and I don't know who, I don't even really remember, but I saw somebody knit up vanilla socks, or what I saw it on Instagram or something. If I can recall, again, I will let you guys know and put it on the screen. But somebody somewhere made little vanilla socks with the cutest, shortest little cuff here, and it made me so happy, and I thought it was stunning, and so that's why I decided to cast on these socks. I don't know what it is, but I love this like tiny little cuff, and I did decide for this one to do a contrast heel. This is the shade My Girl, which is this top. Again, Olivia Oliver fiber. If you can't tell, she's one of my favorite hand dyers. And yeah, I just wanted to use a little bit for the heel. I'll still have more than enough. I have another pair of socks planned with these guys from Summerly. If you can't tell, not very creative with it all. But yeah, once again, I have one sock of this done, and I want to cast on the next one. But there's a couple of other socks that are currently taking priority. But yeah, very, very happy with these guys. So that's that. Then I also casted on my first ever non-clothing item. This is the honey wash bag that is inside out. No, it's not. This is the honey wash bag by Petite Knit. This all happened because I went to my local fabric shop. I live in Rotterdam, and we don't have a lot of yarn shops or things like that around. It's very, very limited here. And our fabric store has a little bit of yarn, and it's mainly scheepjes yarn, which is not really my favorite brand ever. I don't purchase a lot of the yarns, but I was just in the area and decided to pop in because you never know when inspiration strikes. And I found this, and I didn't know about this yarn specifically, but this tag looks very familiar, and it is indeed Iztec yarn. They, for some reason, now stock only this one of Iztec. I hope that they start stocking more. I hope that it sells a ton, you know, they sell more of it. But this is Iztec's Camgarn. Merino wool. It's a sport weight, 100% merino wool, Icelandic yarn, and this is in the shade 9667, and I'm knitting up the honey wash bag. And the idea with this one is that if this goes well, and I casted this on during the summer, so I really need to get on this again, but I feel like this would be a really nice knit for gift knitting. I love gift knitting, but it's not something I do a lot, because if you're knitting garments or things like that, you just don't know if people will actually want it, or if they will like the shade or the design or the fit or anything. And it is a lot of responsibility sometimes to take care of knits, and I don't want to put hours and hours of work into something for people not to want it. And I feel like with an accessory like this, or like a little, you know, pouch, anybody will love this, and you don't have to wash it or anything like that. So yeah, I need to get back on this with this honeycomb stitch. I am really enjoying it. I have not knit it in a while, but hopefully soon I will get back on this, because I would love to do this as some Christmas gift knitting, but time will tell. We'll see what we do end up doing. I also casted on Slipover from Petite Knit. It is I'm not too sure which slipover it is, to be honest with you. I need to look that up, but there's not even much to see. This is yarn that I bought in Exeter. This is Milburn 4-ply by Eden Cottage Yarns. We have 3 shades. This is the shade Time. We have the shade Althea, and we have the shade Rain. And I got 2 skeins of each whenever I was visiting my sister. This is honestly really nice yarn. This is 85% BFL, 15% silk, 50 grams is 200 meters. So it's a pretty standard fingering weight yarn, and it's got this beautiful luster, and I'm just obsessed with it. And so I am knitting up a striped sweater vest, and I'm holding it with an undyed mohair because I didn't feel like dyeing up mohairs for each. And I'm doing, let's see, 4 stripes of the green, 4 stripes of the pink, and 8 stripes of the gray to make a little sweater vest. So this is the back panel, like this. I've put this on hold on some scrap yarn. I will pick this up again eventually, but this does not have any crazy rush or high priority, if I'm being honest. But I am very excited about it, so I thought I would quickly show it and share it. But yeah, I do really like holding that bare mohair with it. I feel like it just blends everything together a little bit nicely, and it gives a little bit of this marled, you can see it the best with the pinks. There's a little bit of a marled situation going on and a nice little fuzz. So yeah, my first ever like slip over that I'm knitting, so I'm excited to see how I can style this and things like that. But I'm really happy with these colors and very curious to see what the end result will be like. So yeah, and I bought this yarn on Wool on the X. If you are in the Devon area, it's a really nice yarn shop, so I recommend it. I think that's it for my whips. That's it for my whips. I don't show UFOs in podcasts. I don't show all of the technically things that are whips. I only show things that I, in that period, was working on or cast on or things like that. For example, the Iris sweater from November Knits, I have not knit on at all, and so I'm not gonna share that with you guys. But yeah, that was it for whips. Let's get on to acquisitions because I'm so excited about my acquisitions. I knew in the past period that I was going to go to Scandinavia. I'm already back from Scandinavia. All of the yarn that I purchased there, I went to Copenhagen, Stockholm, and Oslo. I purchased a lot of yarn and I went to a lot of yarn shops. And in 2 weeks time you will see the video for all of that, where I share all of the yarn that I bought and what shops I bought them at and my plans of what I'm going to knit with it at some point in time. But I knew I was going to go to Scandinavia around this time, and so I only allowed myself to buy what I call special yarns. In other words, yarns that I don't, like, let's say I went to Paris for one day, for example, and so I allowed myself to buy some yarn in Paris, or there was a Sorella yarn pre-sale and that was like limited, and so I allowed myself to buy that. So I have a lot of yarn to show you guys. This is like yarn that's like a 3-month period, so with that in mind I don't feel as guilty, but I am definitely on a yarn ban for the foreseeable future. But let's start with France. My family has a holiday house in France, and in one of the nearby towns there's a little yarn shop, and I picked up some yarn. They have Lang yarns there, so I picked up Lang Yarns Kimberly. I think this might be discontinued because just like last time I was there, I purchased like a Plessard cotton yarn and I bought a whole yarn bag of 10 skeins on sale. I think it was like 40% sale. But I'm very excited to use this yarn. It's a little bit different than what I would normally go for, and it's definitely a summer fiber, so I'm not going to be using it this winter. But this is a 70% cotton, a 22% hemp, and an 8% polyester, and it's this kind of more rustic chainette yarn with some speckles running through it, and I think it's an Aran or a worsted weight. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but yeah, I'm excited about this. And then I also picked up some yellow 2 skeins in this light grey colour, which is 83, to knit up some socks, because why not? So those were the first 2 yarns. Then I went to Paris. Obviously I had to go to some Parisian yarn stores. So let me show you guys. First that I bought Lang Regina, the yarn band I took off. This is a 50% cotton, 24% alpaca, 20% silk and 6% wool, and it is this beautiful, luscious, amazing yarn. I love this shade. This is in the shade 1093. And yeah, I got 4 skeins of this, I believe. I wanted it like a little cabled vest top situation. Probably will knit it in the springtime, but very excited about this yarn. It is actually feels really nice. You wouldn't think that this is 50% cotton. It's super plump and luscious and beautiful, so I'm excited to try that out. I then also bought some Rico Designs Superba Tweed 4-ply. This is a 60% wool, 30% polyamide, 7% acrylic, and 3% viscose. And I'm just obsessed with these Tweety bits. Look at these shades. Like, this is the most beautiful shade of blue. These teals, yellows, this red. I'm excited about this. So this will probably become a pair of socks, or it'll become an accessory. I feel like this is a beanie would also be very, very cute. So we'll see. I'm in no rush to necessarily decide what to make with this, but I am very excited about it. Then what I'm most excited about for my, oh, I will show you guys this first. I got some hand-dyed yarn, Gusto Wool Nocta. Look at this. This is so pretty. I feel like these peachy pinks are so nice, and it has like these darker speckles. I actually bought something relatively similar in, I can show you guys, in Copenhagen, but it's still different. But this whole concept of this peachy yarn with these darker speckles, I really love. It is a just 80% merino, 20% nylon, so not a super wash, and it's my first time that I will be knitting socks or whatever I end up knitting with this with a non-super wash. Look at like this orange, it's so beautiful, so I'm excited to try this out. It's Turkish, made in Turkey, so there you go. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking very fast and I'm very chaotic and all over the place. But next up, I bought some Filcolana. This is Filcolana Merci. These skeins have the new gorgeous label. These guys have the old labels. But this yarn is fingering weight, and it is, let's see, 50% virgin wool and 50% cotton. But you don't feel the cotton at all. It is just stunning. I got 4 skeins of shade 101, and then I got 3 contrast shades. And I want to make like a little striped tank / tee with this. This beautiful green is shade 617. This pink is 4142, and this is 603. And I love these colors together. So I got enough quantity to make that one color block tee that was going around during the summer, where the tee is just like a white color, and then you use the contrast shades for like the edging around the neck and the pocket and the sleeves and things like that. But I think I might just make a little ribbed tank top that is in my Ravelry Patterns favorites, or maybe at some point I will just knit up a tee and like try to wing it and try to like make my very first own pattern. Who knows? But I'm very excited about this yarn. I definitely recommend you go to a shop and check it out and feel this yarn, because it's honestly stunning. So yeah, that was my French yarns. Oh, that is a lie. I have more French yarns. Oh, I bought so much yarn, you guys. This is so not okay. Okay, more sock yarn. This is the Wool Kitchen. It's a superwash BFL yarn with 25% nylon. And it's this like bluish gray base with these neon shades running through. Don't remember where I bought this, but I think this is going to be a very beautiful pair of socks. And I also got this Black Elephant fingering weight, but it's just superwash merino. You can tell it has a lot less hold to it. A teal base with, again, some fun colors running throughout. This is like what I love about hand-dyed yarn, is things that look this beautiful and are speckled and gorgeous like that. Like, look at these shades. So yeah, that was all the French yarn that I purchased. Next up, Olivia Oliver Fiber had a pre-sale, honestly, a while ago. I got this yarn maybe a month ago in the mail, and I think it took like 2 months before it was shipped out. I purchased this a while ago. Not that I'm complaining, it's okay that it took a while, but this was from, I believe, her Wanderlust Advent, and she did a pre-sale, so I got some sock sets. Again, Olivia Oliver Fiber is my favorite hand dyer. Go check them out. This shade is Marrakesh with the contrast color Mauritius. Again, you can tell I like pinks. These gorgeous speckles running through, and this really beautiful blue teal shade. I then also got, and that's just going to turn into socks, by the way. I then also got this one, which is Melisani Cave and Hamnoy. Melisani Cave and Hamnoy. This is a little bit more of a true blue. You can kind of see the difference there. For this, I actually got a sock set as well as just a single skein of this one. And the plan is to use this main shade for the porcelain sweater. So there is quite a lot of variation in this yarn, but it still feels very blue, and I really wanted to use this for the porcelain sweater, if you've ever seen it before. And then I really like minis, and so I figured I would just have a mini, and if there's enough yarn left over, maybe I can knit like a shorty set, or, you know, combine the colors. But with the amount of sock knitting that I do love a good mini on the side. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And then I did the same with this sock set. I bought a sock set as well as the single skein. I've already wound this up because I've already cast it on with this main shade, but that will be in the next podcast. This is the main shade What Aaron, and the contrast color is Cacao. And this is just beautiful. When I got this, I wish I could show you it in like the spun up skein, but when I got this, I was a little bit worried that when I knit it up, it wouldn't look as exciting, or that it wouldn't be worth the money you spend on hand-dyed yarn, because it doesn't feel very variegated. But the fabric that it knits up is beautiful. The speckles feel kind of sparse. There's like these blue teal, there's yellow, and there's little brown speckles, but once you knit up in the fabric, it is beautiful. So yeah, that was the Olivia Oliver Fiber yarn that I purchased. And then, as I mentioned, Sorella Yarn did a pre-sale. She did her Eras collection. I'm in awe and completely obsessed with Sorella's yarn, but it is more expensive and it comes from America, and so there's import costs and things like that. But this was just such a unique collection, and I love Taylor Swift, and so I really wanted to knit something up. And also I have tickets to go see Taylor Swift in the summer, in like 7 months time, 8 months time, and so I had to knit something up with this yarn to wear there. But yeah, let me show you guys what I got. I got one sock set. This is in You Need to Calm Down. Love. I probably could have done without this contrast shade. I probably could have just used My Girl instead. Obviously it's a little warmer toned, but hey ho, I got the sock set and I'm very excited about it. Look at these colors. I can't deal with this, so this will very likely become socks. And then of 2 skeins, I got 2 of each color. So these will be tops, camisoles or some sort of tops. This is Wildest Dreams, which I just love. This gives me like a little bit more fall vibes with these colors. Stunning. And then I also got Karma. Look at this. How can you not love this? So yeah, like I said, I got 2 of each of these and then this sock set. So yeah, I have so much sock yarn, and I have like a little wall, like I have a little corner in my living room where I have this little thing that I could hang the yarns up on, little hooks, and there's no space for all of my beautiful sock yarns that I want to display. These are just stunning, so I cannot wait to see what I knit up with these. But this is like no priority. This is like I want to think about the patterns that I want to knit up and just knit up the most beautiful, perfect things in the world. So we'll see when I get around to knitting these into something, but I'm in love. So yeah, I feel like I talked way too fast. This was 30 minutes and I feel like I just do. But that's me, so I can't do anything about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that it was a lot. I know that I talk a lot. I know that I can be a little bit all over the place, but I'm still learning also, that's a thing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in 2 weeks time for my Copenhagen yarn haul, and then that will be the last of acquisitions for the time being. I do need to buy some acquisitions for gift knitting that is coming up, but that'll be like a skein here or a skein there. So yeah, if you want to see all the yarns that I bought in Copenhagen and Oslo and Stockholm, it is a lot. It is beautiful. My adventures were incredible. Subscribe because that video will be out in 2 weeks, and then in a month's time you will see my October knitting podcast. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks time. Bye guys!